What's Radiant's ban plan anyway?
Japoy is my idol.
Just who?
I mean, I would be like that if my voice was in the game. You think I'm not spamming that crap all the time? Come on. I just saw like the Suns fan, I'm sure, is just putting out the and good effort every single time he's playing a pub. I guarantee it.
10 seconds. 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Dire.
I mean, the fact that the Motivate boys, they've got Nani in their thing. I mean, I feel like that's going to get some international attention. So well, we'll see. You know, I saw a lot of the Chinese teams using JazkieGaming's like that. What timing? That you are already dead with a cute anime girl saying it, but.
Japoy is my idol.
That boy is my idol, indeed. I love this. You know, it's all about the interaction coming through. But I mean, oh well, we've still got a draft going on, and I actually haven't had a look at these bands. Let's see how it's all shaping up. Sand King does feel quite targeted towards Neon because they do like to play it both for the offlane. No, honestly, not so much in the offlane. It's much more of a mid for them. So maybe they're just thinking to have. To have a melee-based mid-hero that they wanted to be able to counter against. It's not like you're going up against Signal where, you know, Jamesy's all the time going to be playing the Mars in the mid, but
10 seconds.
Makoto, I'm sure he's got it in his wheelhouse as well, but wouldn't be surprised to see something that's directly either going to counter the Bristleback. A little surprising, honestly, that they picked the Bristle into the Mars, right? Because you spear him, he turns around to face you. So, really just respecting the strength of it overall.
It's Dire's turn to pick. Yeehaw! 10 seconds. 5 seconds.
Well, you say that, but they got the Mars as well, right, to protect it. So if you're right on point, you can use the arena as a little bit of protection against these ranged heroes. They're going to be trying to deal with it. It's not like you've got a Juggernaut just yet, or a Lifestealer that's able to just pop their spell immunity, walk into the arena phalanxes and try and deal with it. But like, you're not completely screwed if you get caught inside that arena. You've got the leap if you click on the button, and then same sort of thing with the cookie. The spawn time of the arena is still a little bit too slow that it will guaranteed catch the Snapfire in it. And I don't think Bristleback minds too much.
Face this void.
Ten seconds. It's Dire's turn to ban.
I mean, the other Lion, right, it's going to be really on the positioning, but I think it's going to be like, will they have enough farm into it to be able to get that Blink Dagger? Because I feel like this is one of those games where you just cannot walk forward at all as this Lion. You're just going to get caught every single time. They do like a way to get like onto the super backline at the moment. There's no Storm Spirit, there's no Spectre, for example. So Lion should be safe, provided that he doesn't overextend. It's not like a Mirana or a Snapfire are going to go super in deep. They're just going to be dead meat. Bristleback is going to try, but you know, you always run the risk of just being speared into something and burst down. So that's why they are banning out the Storm Spirit. You know, they realize that this is the way that Boom are going to be wanting to play, both the fact that it's good against the Lion and the Phoenix in general, but also just with how they want to take their team fights.
It's Radiant's pick. It's Dire's turn to pick.
It just seems like they're celebrating every single one of their picks with these voice lines every single time it comes out. They're just like, that's it, we got it, we got what we wanted, let's go, let's celebrate.
10
Oh
seconds.
man.
5 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Can you open the chat box just to have a look at how much they've been spending it? I mean, it's Zhao saying the voice line, so like I understand him doing it,
Choose your hero.
but and we're just gonna finish off with an Ember Spirit. Okay. Gonna have a little trouble getting bullied out somewhat in the mid lane by Yopaj, but if he gets an early Blightstone, then you know that Sleight of Fist is going to do a lot of damage against the Tiny, not too much armor. So it's going to be interesting to see how the positioning is going to impact on it all. And again, as well with the Ember Spirit, he's going to be a little vulnerable to, you know, some kind of rotations coming through from Playhard. So that's what I'm really going to be looking out for around those rune timings when Mirana's looking to roam. Obviously, a lot easier to do so compared with the Phoenix and the Lion. That, you know, you've already got a Tiny that's able to guarantee some form of lockdown with the Avatos combo. Just wait for that Sleight of Fist to be on cooldown. Toss him up in the air, get the arrow into it. It should be an easy kill. So the vision game around mid for Makoto is going to be super important. And then also just his positioning in lane as well to make sure that he's not vulnerable to that sort of stuff. Because, like I said, Lion, Phoenix, they do not want to leave their lane if I think so. It's going to rely quite heavily on just his individual play, though, right? Because you don't have these defensive supports. I mean, sure, you could argue that Phoenix is with the Sunray, but it's not immediate. You know, it needs time to ramp up the healing that you're able to do. So, you know, an immediate TP, it doesn't mean a false promise is coming through or an aphotic shield or anything like that. You know, you're going to need to rely on your individual skill to be prepared with these defensive remnants coming through. So I think Ember Spirit's going to be okay if he just breaks even in the lane, and then they're going to look to rotate, use their first ultimates to, you know, pretty high effect. Because well, another issue they might have, excuse me, as well, is no real way to get in onto the Snapfire to stop those Mortimer's kisses as well. You know, you can get in, you use the Searing Chains, but that's not really gonna do all that much against the channel there.
Just for good measure, just to make sure he's dead.
A gift from the night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like, I think it was 14 new teams that got added yesterday, so I was very happy to see that. Some, not even just the voice lines, like TMSMG's wallpaper looks great. It was done by the artist Dire Dude, who, you know, does a bunch of great artwork.
Is missing.
I wish you could just buy things individually as well, right? Because, like, I'll be honest, like, some of the other stuff in their pack, not that great, but I would buy that wallpaper. The Chen. Oh, it's so cursed when it's on the tower as well. I believe that's Skim. Remember back in the day when Skem was doing his POS 1 chens? I feel like that's it. I say back in the day, it was about 8 months ago or something.
30 seconds to battle.
He has for sure. I feel like Chen is just in the bin these days though, so probably a bit less
I'm
about,
very
you know,
sorry,
the
but
heroes that were picked like less than 5 times across every single upper lower division season 2 DPC, and Chen was one of them, and a couple of the other ones that we saw yesterday that I don't believe were successful in the clicks and the Naga were there as well.
Okay, James, battle's starting. Keep an eye out for it easy mark.
Oh, connects with the arrow. It's still fine. Like, you're going up against the Faceless Void, he's not able to dish out a ton of burst against you. And even Zhao, like, you're a Snapfire, sure, you've got the little Shredder, you got the Blightstone. It's going to be annoying, and I'm sure he's going to be prioritizing and putting into FBZ just so that you're, again, spending more gold on your tangos. You know, you want to be avoiding doing that as much as possible as this Mars. You need to try and pressure in the Faceless Void. It's probably going to even be worth getting the 1 point of the Bulwark at level 4, just to be able to stop a lot of the counter harass that might be coming out. Just looking at each other menacingly. It's a shared understanding, you know, like, this is kind of what we have to do. There's some cool stories going back to, like, you know, the World Wars on, like, Christmas Day, where both sides had, like, a ceasefire, and they actually came and, like, played cards and had drinks together, and then the next day they were just back to normalcy. It's pretty sad, but, you know, it's the reality of the situation back in the day. Shouldn't be as big of a deal if Kezcute isn't out of position. Like, this Morphling is not going to be in a position to die all that often, but play hard. We can see he's got the Blightstone. You've got the level 1 Viscous Nasal Goo. That's all you really need. I say that, but mid lane, Yopaj is actually able to get the first blood on his own, not even needing the Mirana's help to rotate through and pick it up. And that's just as the Water Rune spawn as well. So he's going to look to clean up this this range creep, quickly rush over, grab one of them. If he can get both, that'd be a huge win.
Dire's top tower has some radiant-shaped problems.
I mean, any solo experience going to a Faceless Void, you're always going to be happy for that. It's just about getting out of the laning stage, but still, you've only got the 2 points in the time walk, so receiving a fair amount of harass. You've got Zhao coming back to the lane, though, with a fresh salve. He's going to be just fine.
Radiant just fortified.
Whoa.
Radiant are scanning for enemies.
Those quills are stacking up.
Sounds up and death to all betrayers.
Mounted.
And the one that actually makes the rotation through to the Water Rune to make sure it's secured is actually Zhao. So not even needing the Mirana to be able to do it. He even goes ahead and snipes the enemy bounty runes. So Makoto, he's got no bottle charges remaining, just misses the toss there on your Pudge. Could have, well, not necessarily been more kill potential, but certainly a lot more harassed considering he doesn't have any bottle charges left on this Ember. Yeah, for sure. And you've also, well, you have to consider the fact that Makoto, at least he was able to get the kill before he died. It was all the solo experience, and he essentially gets a free bottle refill as a result. So with the deaths now granting the free TP scroll, he's not gonna, well, he's not gonna care all that much. But you're already a level and a half behind this. Behind this Tiny, who's getting very close to picking up his phase boots. So
Middle lane is
it's going to be now about, you know, I've already been died a couple of times. I'm not quite that level 6 mark just yet. Will they be able to pick him off before he gets to there? It's probably only a couple of creeps away, but... Oh, lands. Toss back. Oh, nice leap coming through from Makoto. Still no remnants. Been a little bit of trouble.
To Radiant.
It was not luck, but skill.
victory.
Oh, really nicely done by Hyde as well. He makes the rotation through. There was a regen rune waiting for them bot, but he just... some solid teamwork coming through. I believe FBZ just gave him his bottle so that he can go through...
Nothing.
I think so, because the side lanes have been going well, and there's been some stacks that have started to be built up a little bit, although it's going to be CTM that does a very good job with his scouting due to the really deep observer ward placed down by the Maranas. So it's a nice job to be able to pick that out and just take it on away. So that was a lot of your comeback potential.
I think.
Dire don't look too scared of Radiant's top tower. Dire just fortified.
Maybe. He's TP'd down here, so he's pretty much a sitting duck. Might look to cook you through the trees to the left just to try and get away, but no. He's just going to fall down. Hide. Yoinks it away with the single right click. But at least for Neon's sake, that's me. He was able to TP up to the top side now that all this attention's on bottom. And we can see here, CTM, he's just continuing to take away a lot more of these stacks. I mean, this was your comeback potential for the Ember Spirit. I mean, he's at least going to be able to take a small camp plus the creep wave, but it's nowhere near as much experience as they were hoping to be able to funnel through into it. Gets the bounty rune as well, so it's okay.
The prize is mine.
Jax thinks Radiant's bottom tower is about to fall. And here's a fortification from Radiant. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's courier is dead. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Time grinds even mountain.
Jax thinks Radiant's bottom tower is about to fall. Dire's middle tower is having a bad day. Did Radiant's bottom tower just fall?
Third death of the game and bottom of all of the cores so far. So side lane's going real well for Boom so far. Already already about to reach level 6 on the Phoenix as well. 10-minute mark starts to come up. I think probably feed through the tome into Hyde, just because that level 7 is a big power spike for him as well. You're basically going to hit level 6 on Kesku very shortly.
Well. A real killer on the loose.
Nice.
Makoto?
Damn, I'm good.
Yapoy is my idol.
That's for me.
Honestly, it's worth Zhao just staying up here. You got the Siege Creep available. If you TP up here, still that little Shredder's going to do a lot of work, plus the Blightstone onto the tower. Feels like, Boom, well, if they were to rotate anyone, it would have to be FBZ to try and make a defense happen of this top tier 1 tower, but this TP scroll, still about 10 seconds left on cooldown. Let's see what they think to do about it. Do they last forever?
A scan from Radiant.
He's always watching, you know, you gotta be mindful of it. Oh, this ancient stack, they're gonna scout out the CT it's taking it. It is daytime, but he gets the majority of it at least. Find out the snapfire. You're very happy for that to be the case though for Neon. Wow, they're actually turning it around with Yokpaj? I guess they don't have many tools left.
Do Radiant want their middle tower to fall?
You have been denied. What a bounty!
It's another one of these power of information games, right? Where you're just constantly seeing stacks taken away by enemy teams, right on the timings for a lot of these neutral items coming through too. So that's going to give Boom a nice little power spike. And 10 to 10, 12 minutes in, not too much in terms of net worth lead. And we haven't really seen Dreamercell be part of any kind of team fights. He's just been happily farming away. He's got his Morbid Mask, he's got his Yasha. He should be just fine, as well as the additional stats that you get from the Iron Butcher.
Flames will spread thrice.
Hard to say, right? Because, yeah, withstanding the burst, do you trust your Phoenix? And he's also going into a Desolator build. Oh, is that Desolate? No, he's going into the Maelstrom. Never mind. Yeah, I think the Maelstrom is totally fine then with the Flame Guard absorption.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Even salving up. They can't find anyone. Nice arrow.
Of course.
Your punch is here.
Doesn't even describe it.
And over here, Radiant's top tower. Top tower. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And it's just the chain feeding happening right now from Neon. I mean, they dive beyond a tier 1 tower, so it's very easy for reinforcements to come in. A lot of the time they were just standing underneath this tower, getting a little bit of that extra armor. And right now the Faceless Void doesn't do much in terms of damage. You know, he's got a Yasha. It's not like you've gone this Mask of Madness, Maelstrom build that's able to dish out a lot more damage in these team fights. This feels a lot more like just a pure farming build. And, well, even though it's like that, Natsumi, he is not farming much at all. Still sitting at the bottom of all the cores on the net worth charts.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle
Mau kemana, bos? Mau kemana, bos?
I'm very, very sorry, but you just got baited.
The prize is mine.
I think you're just wanting to prepare for the fact that you're going to need a Manta style, right? He doesn't want to go a super early BKB. You're going to be able to get out of the Searing Change. You've also got the Adaptive Strike that's going to be coming in at you, so I don't mind it all that much. Even, hell, just getting off the Fire Spirit's attack speed slow is going to be pretty important. Yeah, you know what I was talking about before with the top tier 1 tower. Finally, it looks like Neon are going to try and put a little bit more attention onto it with this next siege creep coming through. You've still got Jiao sitting around with his Blightstone. You've still got the little Shredder available. Gonna wait for the lift to be popped. A little early for mine on the use of the actual little Shredder. Not going to have quite as much armor reduction last, but this is something that could have potentially happened 5 minutes ago. And who knows, maybe that team fight would have happened very differently if they didn't have that tower on Boom's side.
Invisibility.
Yeah, a little surprising to see Mirana have such little kill involvement relatively. I mean, 3 out of the 10 kills, he's got an urn, so he needs to be there. He needs to be with the rest of his team. You're thinking about going for a smoke here in Neon. They are. Can they get them on the retreat, though? Actually revealing here.
Jax thinks Radiant's bottom tower is about to fall.
Killer has a nice ring to it, don't you think?
Yeah, you just compare the farm. He's basically nearly got double the Faceless Void's farm as this Morphling, and he's being active around the map as well. You know, 10 out of the 18 kills gone his way. You compare that to the Faceless Void, only part of 4, 5 deaths involved in all of that, and you just have a look at it. Like, everything about him is doing damage right now on Faceless Void, but it's just not happening. You know, there's not much survivability for it. You're getting what? 16 agility, plus 7, plus 20. That's 43 agility just coming from, you know, your neutral items, plus, you know, the swords that you've picked up, but it just never seems like they're in the right position. They're not completely connected together. Someone's always getting picked off first.
Speedy rune of haste.
Jax thinks Radiant's bottom tower is about to fall. He's using
Haste.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Yep, take that 2/2 tower. Yopaj, at least now he's got the Ogre Axe, so a little bit more damage that's going to come through with the burst. Once he finishes up that Echo Saber, that's going to be a big benefit for him, just because it feels like so many times they've gone for these kills and people have survived on about 100 HP. If you could get that double hit in, get the tree toss as well, a combo together with all of that, it's going to change things up massively for them. Hell, even if they get like a crit stick, for example, coming through, which right now the Faceless Void is holding on to. If it was me, I would switch that up. They did just use the arena, so at least you know, you're not having to worry as much about that. But yeah, again, I think that's a Diffusal Blade coming out to him. Let's see if they're able to stall out this Roche attempt long enough. You've got Jiao coming. He's only level 10. Just the level 1 Mortimer's Kisses. He's just going to look to park himself well away from this team fight and hopefully rain down some Hellfire.
Do Radiant
This could be a good one though. You know, one of these fights, you don't have arena again, and it's around a closed area like the Roche Pit, where Chronosphere could be really good, Mortimer's Kisses can be fantastic, not as many avenues to retreat with the Sacred Arrow. But Boom, to their credit, they realize that. They say, look, we've got a good lead, we've killed the Tiny for sure, but we don't have the guarantee yet to be able to pick up that Roche. So CTM is going to check it out himself, just body check it. Who are they going to run into? They found Zhao.
Rune of invisibility.
He's just got to run. I mean, there was no damage inside that Chronosphere. You know, you bought back. Hell, Zhao might die again. Like, this pause, yes, it was for a DC, but it's going to let FBZ know, well, we got this little Snapfire here. That's where the pigs are coming out onto him as well. He's got no mobility. FBZ, he's got the Blink Dagger available. Less than 1 second on the Spear of Mars cooldown, so that's going to be a dieback. And that's your Roche potential taken right there. You'll have the arrow from Play Hard at least, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Maybe it will. Oh, he's actually gone, but yeah. I felt like he just resigned himself to that, you know?
I must have them all.
Do Radiant want their middle tower to fall?
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about the burst potential as well and being able to pick people off. That's the great thing about playing a Morphling into a Tiny. You know, you're just able to morph in, get your own Avatos combo off, combine that together with a waveform, shotgun. That's enough to be able to take down basically everyone in the game so far. So you also have the Searing Change, which prevents the Faceless Void from being able to get away with that Time Walk, at least until he's got that Manta style. And basically everyone's a sitting duck, even the Bristleback right now, which, I mean, he's tanky. He's got a Vanguard, he's got an Eternal Shroud, he's got the Plate Mail, but it feels like Boom are taking this and their team fights really well. They're just ignoring the Bristleback now. He's gotten past the stage of the game where he can be taken out by a lot of attention. So he's just like, you know what? We don't care all that much about him. Let's try and maybe spear him up, control him off to the side, but it's the rest of the team that we're more concerned about.
Ratatouille.
Mau kemana, bos?
Oh, it's going to be harder now. Well, who knows? It could be another one of these situations where an Aegis actually fools the team into a false sense of cockiness. But I think it's really important that you just start to get some stacks up on these urns. You're going to need to wait, though, until this Faceless Void has Manta. Like, him having Manta plus Tiny having the Echo Saber, that's the big timings for mine. You know, Punch, you can see here, he's very scared about coming into lane, even briefly. That wave pushed in, though. He's going to be able to buy the Quarterstaff if he wants it. He does. It's coming out to him now. It's got a little bit more burst potential. And it's just about finding the supports, but to Boom's credit, they're either all standing behind their vision or they're all together. There's not a situation where someone's off on their own.
Radiant's top tower is low. Dire don't look too scared of Radiant's top tower. Radiant structures are fortified. And over here, Radiant's top tower. What's up? Yes! Radiant's top tower is under attack. Bad news, getting friendly with Dire's bottom tower. Dire structures are fortified. Look at Dire's bottom tower, Jax.
Yeah, Chrono on cooldown. You get a lot out of that. You know, that's given that to me. Wait, who ended up getting the kill there? It was Zhao, actually. So probably the person that you would have least wanted to be a part of that. But at least now he's going to be very close to that Blink Dagger, actually, with that cookie. Gets it. So he's going to be able to be a lot more cautious. What's the right word? He's going to be able to take advantage of his positioning more. Sorry, me brain no work good this one.
Do Radiant want their middle tower to fall?
CTMU has been trying to take a little bit of an ancient stack here, but he's going to have to come back because they're losing their base, and he TP's right back into them. Oh, nice toss coming through from Yopaj, though. There's a reason he's their idol.
I foresaw this end.
Mau kemana?
Solo kill. Found him. The Hex.
Searing heat.
A couple of buybacks, tiny. I suppose they didn't use that. They'd used one previously on the Snapfire. Void, of course, not in a position to want to do it. If they're out of position now, they could get Cronus to Mortimer's Kiss, but nope. They're just like, look, we got exactly what we wanted out of that engagement. We can finally take away this outpost as well, so even strangle them even more on the experience front. And, it's looking not so sunny right now for Neon, with Dreamer Cell about to hit level 20. His wave of form attacks targets, combine that together with a Satanic, and even though he doesn't have that Aegis, it's going to be very hard to kill this Morphling.
Trickster, rune of illusion.
Very close to the Manta, though. He can actually buy the Manta if he wants on Natsumi. You gotta catch the Phoenix. That's pretty much it. Speaking of the Phoenix, he's got a crap load of stuff coming out to him. He's very close to picking up the Holy Locket for himself as well. So you thought that healing was good before? You ain't seen nothing yet. At least now the Mirana has the Spirit Vessel. No charges, but there's none on the boom side either. So a little bit until they're able to really impact on that sustainability.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
Respect for Rage Rex. Come on.
A tool to teach.
Be careful. Ooh. He's got the axe. Good positioning.
The dead.
Yeah, that time they finally were at least able to catch out one of the supports on the backline, but it was just protected by everything. They're playing around their arena perfectly. You've got nowhere to move. It's too early. You've had such a good early game that the BKBs aren't quite online yet. And yeah, again, just that Chronosphere. It was kind of reminiscent of what we saw with the Song of the Siren and Sanctity, just not knowing who to channel up his Requiem of Souls onto. You know, you had Faceless Void running around the Chronosphere like, who do I hit? Who are we going for with these Mortimer's Kisses? But at the end, it wasn't enough. And, well, boom, continuing their good run of form.
Missing middle. Never refuse gold given.
The sun walks towards the dark.
My face. Never.
Dire are scanning
From my
friends.
chest. Haste!
Is Dire going to let that middle tower fall? Dire's middle tower is... Radiant carrier has been killed. Were you paying attention? You obviously weren't. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I will rip you apart. Times. Behold my searing chains.
Dire don't look too scared of Radiant's top tower. Is Dire going to let that middle tower fall? And over here, Radiant's top tower. About. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Be ensnared in fire.
A story written
Something good happening to Radiant's middle tower. And here's a fortification from Radiant. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Do Radiant want their middle tower to fall? Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's getting friendly with Dire's bottom tower. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Deceptive rune of invisibility.
Dire's top tower has
You
some
30
radiant
mana
shaped
boy.
problems.
Eat my way. Ah, denied.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Seems the lesson.
Dire structures are fortified. Dire's top tower has some radiant shaped problems.
Divine.
Dire's top tower has fallen. If you're looking for Radiant's bottom tower, better hurry. Just since Radiant's bottom tower is about to fall, Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Just since Radiant's bottom tower is about to fall, he's wrong. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Burn away your
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Is Dire going to let that middle tower fall?
Money to burn.
GG na, narin pa mag-GG na itong mga to.
You make best situation out of no situation.
bathed in searing heat.
That wasn't nice.
The rune of illusion.
Dire's top tower has some radiant-shaped problems. Do Radiant want their middle tower to fall? Radiant just fortified.
There. You not see beyond the phantom veil. Feed the flames.
Dire with the scan.
Divine.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
My thanks.
Is Dire going to let that middle tower fall? Think Dire's fortifications will work?
Possibility. Lifted in the flame.
Death at my hands is an honor. Death at my hands is an honor.
You make best situation out of no situation.
Radiant denied their middle tower.
Story written tombs have been killed.
You 13 mana boy.
Look at Dire's bottom tower next. Rashawn has fallen to the Radiant. No!
Death at my hands is an honor. Death
Victor.
at my hands is an honor.
Gold and sweet.
Dire don't look too scared of Radiant's tower. Is Dire going to let that middle tower fall? Dire's middle tower didn't last long.
To those who always encircled the merchant death, one wonders of the wood.
That was hot.
You 13 mana boy.
force my hands is an honor.
Be ensnared in fire. To the deeps with you.
That was hard.
You make best situation out of no situation.
Dire's top tower has some radiant ship problems. Dire's top tower is under attack. Jeff thinks Radiant's bottom tower is about to fall. So he's wrong. Bid farewell to Dire's top tower.
This is the work of the mad moon.
Isolation at its finest.
Is Dire going
Divine.
to let that middle tower fall?
Dire team pick.
Ten seconds.
These fast items, but you know, all you really need is a javelin to be able to make something happen
seconds.
as this Wind Ranger. You know, rotate through to probably the Mars lane and try and take him out there before he's got well, any or many points into the bulwark, and just quickly take him out. Make sure that the Wraith King has a good game, because you know this feels like it might be a Radiance game coming out here for Natsumi, just to be able to have that burn going up against the PL.
Always choose the right clue for the job.
Don't mind it. I mean, you've got the tornado to be able to deal with the wind run. Lots of stuff that's still going to be doing damage all throughout the evasion that he's going to have. You know, you just get the cold snap with an urn on top of him until he's got the BKB. There's not too much that Yopaj is going to be able to do to deal with that, and yeah, some decent survivability as well. How's the rotation looking? I mean, Earth Spirit and the Tusk actually both very strong rotators, so I'd say Invoker's probably going to be the one that's in a little bit more trouble if Earth Spirit does decide to rotate, just because you've got that kick potential as well. Make sure he's under the tower. He's always going to be carrying a dust. I feel like this is, of course, going to be a Quaswex style build.
10 seconds.
So we'll see how it goes, but I mean, they had the last pick overall.
5 seconds.
I feel like Boom, their team cohesion has been fantastic. I feel like their target prioritization has been on point, and you know, even their cosmetics game is looking pretty spicy as well. So there's not too much to dislike about them. Hmm.
Prepare for battle.
I think they can, but I think this game is going to be incredibly important about how they take their team fights, and more importantly, who they go on, right? Because they've picked a Legion commander into a Tusk, so you know that there's always going to be that save from the snowball coming through to not allow CTM to scale with that dual damage. So I feel like that's going to be a big part of Boom having a successful game this time around. They place a nice and early observer ward here. Got any that are going to be dropped on this side of the map? Doesn't look like it. Even just putting, they're going to spot out that this hard camp was warded. But yeah, I mean, you've got the duel, you've got the shackle shot burst combination with the Wind Ranger on Yopaj. So who are they going to go in on first? I mean, you want to be able to pick off the Lion quickly enough. I mean, he's going to be real squishy, so try and take him down first, then get the duel onto the Tusk to try and take him out. And then it feels like a lot of the formation for Boom will crumble. But I feel like FBZ, he feels like he might have to play a bit more of a defensive role this game. That game one, he was very aggressive, but for me, it feels like Neon, they're going to be the ones being a lot more proactive this time around. See here, they're even committing 3 heroes into a Tusk lineup, and well, to their credit, they kind of scare him off a little bit. So it's going to be a 2-for-2 trade into a Tusk, which is always a big win.
Demised. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I feel like as well. Honestly, individually, they're both incredibly skilled players. EMP connects onto him though, which is going to make that power shot style a little bit more difficult. Even there, just being able to dodge out some of these power shots. Got for the mind games with power shotting where they thought he was going to be, playing some Space Invaders in lane. Was Yopaj.
Set in stone. Not today.
It's just a solid combo. They're solid. They're already going in onto the AA. The Ice Cream might be in a little bit of trouble, although the turnaround potential from that slow and the cold feet pretty deadly.
So that's how it is.
And it shows how important that was as well, because he actually popped the salve as the Tusk was chasing him with boots, just for like that extra 40 HP or whatever it was that he ended up getting. So just that little bit of extra gold injection, they were not wanting to give that up to either this Tusk or the Mars, who could snowball heavily off of a really good early start.
It's not your time. Doesn't even describe it. The only one surprised by this is you.
Long attack range, and the fact that, you know, the Mars ended up giving up the first blood, but that meant that Hyde was there to collect all of the experience that came through from the Ancient Apparition kill. He's already level 3, and he's just showing how effective that can be super early on. 1 point in all the different abilities is all they need to be able to get another kill.
I took my speed.
Yeah, and I like the fact that, you know, you get a lot of these these pos 4s that can only play the one style, right? They'll like, let's say Hyde's playing the Tusk now. He's gonna get spotted out as he makes that rotation through. I don't think he's seen this Ward yet. Come on, walk forward. See it. See it. You kind of know. Back on off. There we go. Ends up picking it up. But, you know, they'll play the Tusk, the Earth Spirit, the Clockwork. These style of very similar heroes, but, you know, we saw there. He could play a Pos 4 Doom. He could play... We saw him play a Sand King. He could play a Phoenix. You know, there's a lot of versatility in Hyde's hero pool. Hell, we've even seen him play a Pos 4 Darkseer in the past before. So that's what I really like about it. Rotation. Good save. Hyde on point again. Yes. Great spear.
Dire just fortified. Something good happening to Radiant's middle tower.
Yeah, that's the teamwork that you like to see. You know, we saw it on bottom there with Hyde being able to save from that 3-man gank rotation. You have Zhao rotating through the mid lane, double Mango actually being used in onto Yopaj to make sure they secured that kill. But you know, it's just, again, FBZ immediately gives his bottle over to Hyde. He's just going to pick it up, walk up back to lane. It might be a little bit slow though, because that 3-man rotation's still going to continue. Can he kill Natsumi? One more.
I could have sworn there were more. Down for the count.
Still had his bottle as well, the 2 sips of the bottle on Hyde, so not opting to use that when they weren't hitting him as he walked to the left of that small camp. Maybe might have been able to live that little bit longer to make sure your spells came off cooldown, but still, it was a good attempt. Doesn't end up netting them anything though in the long run. 3v2, you kind of expect that's how it's going to happen. CTM still kept up solo here on the top side of the map.
Dire are scanning for enemies.
And say 1v3 actually. Oh no. Until then. They were actually a little short on mana as well on Kezcute to be able to get the Hex, so that, you know, slowed him down, made sure they were able to catch him even with that overwhelming odds.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Small misplays coming out from Boom, and let's see if Neon are able to punish it accordingly. You can see, like we mentioned before, the rotation coming through. Again, just catching him out on the wrong side of that shards, but it should be enough to be able to pick up the kill.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, that Coswex combination with the Cold Snap means that you're always scared, even as this Wind Ranger could use the EMP just to trade some of that mana. Who needs to go back to base, you know? Makoto back at full HP from the steel coming through from that. And that's a big bonus for the Tusk as well, right? He doesn't have to go into the urn himself. In a bit of trouble here, though.
Stone spawns.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. If you're looking for Radiant's bottom tower, better hurry.
I mean, there is some kill potential there now that FBZ's level 7 already at the 9-minute mark. Also, I believe he's got his phase boots coming out to him, so that's a big damage boost coming through, as well as the level 5 on Hyde. Being able to get that tag teaming onto him, so we'll see what they're able to do. I mean, you can see here, they smoke up. It was it underneath a ward? Yeah. They know exactly what's happening. That's me. He's going to stick around just to be able to get that last hit, but might cost him. Very greedy. And they have a decent number of defensive wards around their jungle entrances, right? Like, basically nowhere can Boom go unless they're going to get spotted out. They've just dropped down a nice deep observer ward, so they kind of realize, well, this is probably where he's going to be going next. He's not coming back down to this bottom side of the map. But even just there, the communication coming through from FBZ, like, they saw that smoke was happening. But, you know, just dropping the arena a little bit early, giving them the time to make up the distance. And it was enough.
Let's hope that
Able to catch him out. I think he had the Wex invoked as well on the Invoker, just so he had that increased level of movement speed to make sure that he was able to quickly join in onto that gank attempt. Tasks here. It's a lot of damage. He's alive.
The man move. Well, I tried. Are you okay?
Mau kemana, bos?
You've got the right idea, Tusk.
I think it's just a lack of respect being given over to the enemy team's lineup again from Neon. It's been plaguing them a little bit for the past month or so, but you know the Invoker's here, you know the Tusk is here. They're going to get that snowball save off every single time, and he's tanky enough that even though that cold feet under a procced, he was enough to get away. He had a couple of sips left in the bottle, and good combination together with the EMP to make sure that Neon, even though you had 3 heroes, Makoto was going to be at full mana, and you had no more tools to be able to follow up with damage.
Did Radiant's bottom tower just fall? Don't answer that.
Yep, makes sense.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is having a bad day.
This one walks towards the ground.
Yeah, this roaming duo is doing a lot. Well, FBZ's not actually doing all that much of roaming. Everyone else is just coming to him, giving him free kills over and over again. Makoto with the 11-minute minus as well. Pretty decent timing coming through from him. He's just being a menace on this map. Not often that you see an Invoker getting this active this early. They got the finger.
Is Dire going to let that middle tower fall?
What? He'll die. They got to be careful about popping up here.
You should have chosen literally anyone else.
Yeah, that one was on CTM, unfortunately. You had the Tusk, who was really isolated away from the rest of the team. Could have simply just dueled him, had the Invoker right next to him with the Arcane Rune that he just bottled up, and very easy to get a pick off, plus the duel damage. And even then, right, he was inside the Roche Pit, they didn't see him, you knew 3 heroes were around with very low HP, and he's maxed out those overwhelming odds. What have they caught out here? Yopaj, they get the silence off, nicely done there by Playhard to be able to stop that as he rolls into 3.
Radiant's middle tower falls.
Even Hyde's not going to be able to get away from this one, though. I'm going to go for more. He's very anxious to try and walk into this. No Finger of Death, at least, for Cute to be able to counter with for a lot of burst potential. But yeah, that fight could have gone so much better for Neon. And unfortunately for CTM, it feels like it was kind of on the back of him. Maybe like a duel, as well as a couple of heroes clean up, but ends up losing his own life instead. So not having the most ideal start, barely above the position 4 Tusk on the enemy team.
Regeneration.
So the Roams don't stop. Hyde sticking together with Makoto. Needs to use that trusty shovel though.
Scan from Radiant.
Oh, they kind of spotted out CTM's here. He's only level 8, so have quite as much. At least he's got the 1 point in the press the attack now. So you've got a little bit of that save potential coming through from someone that gets speared. Unless it's you that gets speared, then you're pretty much boned.
You got the blood on you.
Dire structures are fortified.
They're picking out top.
Dire's top tower is under attack. I accept this offering.
I mean, he hasn't joined in anything. PL hasn't joined either, though.
Dire's top tower has some radiant shield. Dire's top tower is under attack.
And they might even stick up on this top side. I mean, they saw that the TPs were cancelled. I'm not sure if it was 2 or 3 that ended up being cancelled, but it's a lot of space for this top side of the map now that Natsume could feel very confident in just farming up his solo, getting the solo experience. He reaches his level 12 as well, so you've got that level 2 reincarnate, and just about 100 or so gold away from that radiance. I'm sure he's saying to CTM, get away from me.
Radiant just fortified.
Even Yopaj.
What need to buy for this?
Again, just not respecting what the enemy team is going to do from Neon. You know, Natsume very obviously TP's down to that bottom side of the map. Yes, you need to deal with the tier 2 tower, but if you reveal that TP, there's nothing stopping Boom from saying, right, let's go. You know, Wraith King, he might have that Radiance, but we don't care. He's still not going to be a part of this next fight. They snowball that into 2 more kills.
Dire's top
They
tower has some radiant
just
shaped
put a bit more damage around that that mid tier 1 area. They kick him away. The duel though. They'll get it.
Set.
Alright. This feels a lot better. Natsume needs to be playing a lot more with the rest of his team, and they need to not be using these TPs quite as frivolously, or at least so obviously. It's fine to TP down to one side of the map, maybe, you know, put your skeletons there, but you got to immediately walk up to where the rest of your team is, if that's the case. Just so that you can, you know, you can still be jungling, you can still be getting some farm, your skeletons will be pushing out the lanes, so you're not concerned about it, but you have to be joining the team right now. You know, they've bought you 18 minutes of time. It's basically Natsumi trying to carry the game from now. TPs start to come in. It's a long one, though. Both of them having the Observer Ward up in basically the exact same spot. I wonder if that Neon Obs Ward caught out the more recent one placed by Boot. CTM, though, they get the double stun. PL. Nicely done. Oh, the double! Very nice team fight. That time around, it felt much more on the back of individual skill for Neon. You know, play hard, getting through. It feels like he's always playing that old school OG style where, you know, you're not content just to get the one kill. You're always just diving extra deep to try and get a further one. Excuse me. And that time around, he was able to land the roll in onto the Phantom Lancer, kick it back, get the duel. Tusk, for once, not in position to get the save through, and they were just able to snowball that one through, getting lucky with the shackle, hitting onto a couple, just able to clean things through from there.
Jax, I don't know if the stories are true.
What happened here?
Yeah, I mean, that bullwhip is nice, just for being able to consistently farm, but against a PL, against the Invoker, you're always going to be a little bit worried. I don't think, you're right, I don't think they can afford to wait for the second Roche. It's still going to be at least 8 minutes away, so it's too much time. You know, you know the enemy team has this Diffusal. Dream Missile's very close to picking up his Manta Style as well, only about 300 gold away. So, something that you're going to have to be concerned about. He'll be level 15 too. Just wanting to throw out those Spirit Lances as much as possible. Going very deep with the siege creep here as Natsumi.
Seems it's mad to stop.
Sentinel shields.
The scaling is starting to kick in now, though, for CTM. He's still far and away the least farmed core, but at least he's got a bit more of that survivability. He's got the hood, he's got a good amount of strength just from his levels, as well as his item choices, some armor, and the essence rings. So, plus 50 damage coming through makes him much more of an individual threat coming through into this game. It's getting to the point where, you know, the Invoker, he's gone basically all offensive items so far, and all farming greedy items. So if you catch him out, he's in a pretty vulnerable position. You could even potentially solo him.
Look at Dyer's bottom tower, Jax.
Double smoke coming out from these neon cores. CTM wasn't part of it though. He was standing right next to him, but he's just stayed hitting a small camp. And with that deep ward that was recently there, they're going to try for the AA blast onto Makoto, but they know though. You saw it on the map. Play hard again. It's a long TP. Went to the outpost. in. Nice, yours.
Is Dire going to let that middle tower fall?
Ah, yes.
Radiant are scanning for
You gotta love the chat wheel coming out as well. The "Are you okay?" wanting to commit so heavily in onto a task, but he just ends up getting away with that early blink that he was able to get because of this good teamfight dominance coming through from Boom. It's me though. He's not quite yet level 18. It'd be a big deal if his reincarnate goes on cooldown now.
The story returns in
Of course. The king uncrowned.
three heroes as foretold by the man.
And it's one of these games where the longer team fights, they're going to start to favor Boom very shortly because you've got Dreamer Cell, he's level 19, you're a PL, it's very hard to kill you, and he is going into that Ag Shard build. So once he reaches up to that amount of gold, he's going to have the Aether Lens, eventually building up into the Octarine, spamming it out every 4 seconds. And with a lineup like this that's so reliant on just being able to constantly use mana, it's going to be a pretty big deal.
This will do nicely.
Again, it felt like a little bit of the lack of respect. You know, they were trying to take the tower, and you can't fault them for that. You know, they had a pretty good power spike at the time. They had the Aegis, but just continuing to dive underneath the tier 2 tower at top when you knew that Makoto was respawning quite soon. You have the EMP. You had the area control. There's no BKBs just yet on Neon side, except for Yopaj, who wasn't at the fight. So there was no way you were going to be able to escape.
Will always want the dead.
Yeah, and you've got that level 20 plus the Ag Shard, so expect to see a lot more illusions, and this push is going to become much easier. They don't have the glyph as well for the next 2 minutes or so this should melt pretty damn easily.
Radiant's bottom tower is under Radiant's bottom tower is
Pretty early. It's going to force him back. Oh, hide. On point. I haven't seen much of that. You know, like the old Windrage, even the Timbersaw, the Mars, just using the Ironwood tree. It feels like it's been a while.
Illusion.
Good use of the illusion to keep the mid lane pushed out a little bit, put some pressure or some attention towards there by the Wraith King. Natsumi kind of off on his own, actually, with his real hero. He's just going to continue pushing forward. This could be a big mistake if he walks forward into it, but no. Blink forward by FPZ deters him from wanting to go for that. If they had any kind of vision.
Mau kemana, bos?
Japoy is my idol.
Spidey sense? CTM is not. Ooh. Oh, some Indiana Jones shit. Giant ball running at you and able to just get away.
You know what to do.
Pretty recent, yeah.
Japoy
Do
is my
Radiant want
idol.
their middle tower to fall?
Japoy is my idol.
Alright. If to me, it feels like Playhard's the one keeping Neon in this game. He's been really good with his rotations, going in super deep, and really enabling a lot of these gank attempts to happen. I don't think you'll be able to get back the outpost in time for that 29-minute experience, but at least you'll have a little bit more jungle control back. Way to TP back to your side of the map. You can see here, he's even going into the BKB, which, you know, I agree with you. I feel like the AC wasn't necessarily the item. Natsumi needs BKB. You know, you're having to deal with constant stuns coming through from the Invoker, the lockdown coming through from a Lion, hell, even the Mars, PL draining your mana. Tusk you're not quite as worried about because he's still going to be able to Walrus Punch you, but at least now, with a couple of those successful attempts, they're going to be able to get him a lot closer to it. He's only about, what is that, about 1,200 gold away from being able to pick up the completed BKB. You gotta pick up the Paladin Sword, Natsumi, though. It's sitting there on the ground.
Is Dire going to let that middle tower fall?
Zhao? Yeah, he's like, hello? Good item. No, they I don't know why, but like, Natsumi dropped his item and then said, hey, Zhao, can you pick up this item that I was standing next to this entire time?
Dire's middle tower is under
This Axe Shard being picked up by CTM is actually a really big deal, because now you're going to have that spell immunity. If someone gets caught within the Mars arena, as long as CTM's good with his positioning, he can get right on the edge, use the press the attack, and they can just walk on out. It provides a lot of disengage now for your team. Well, not if you get caught out like this on the Raid King. He's got the 3 lives though. Might not even burn 1. Oh, double!
Japoy is my idol.
Buyback. Just no BKB.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Nice blast. Oh, gets him.
Japoy is my idol. Even getting the da-da-da-da-da with the focus fire off. Just the value of those items, and he's feeling himself again. Not too often that you see a position 1 or position 2 player hold a tier 1 item until the 32-minute mark of the game, but you're just able to make such amazing stuff happen with the use of that tree shackle. And, you know, we just saw the effect of having that Aghanim Shard just purely in that fight, right? The Aegis eventually did get burned away, but it doesn't mean much of anything. They had to use so much more resources to be able to get back for that with Boom. Did they use 1 or 2 buybacks for that one? I think it was just the Mars, right? No, Tusk as well.
Dire don't look too scared of Radiant's top tower.
My GameSpot shares. They're up, baby. They're up.
Got it.
Dogecoin down. I'm not a Dogecoin owner anymore. I'm an owner of 10 million SHIB right now. Oh, they walk into this. They've always been a team that's been pretty good in the laning stage. I think they were a little surprised at how proficient Boom was, particularly on that bottom side of the map. But play hard, Yopaj coming in clutch there with multi-man shackles, getting those super deep rolls in, and recovering for the fact that CTM might not have been as farmed as he could have been. Natsumi, some odd TPs putting Neon in a hard situation, but individual skills sometimes is enough to pull you across the line, and they'll be thanking their lucky stars.